Hello everyone! Welcome back to World of Warcraft, and I apologize I was a little late on actually hitting the record button for this. I didn't think it was going to just zoom me right to a level 50. So let me explain. Right now there is an event called the Turbulent Timeways, which gives you this Master of Timeways buff, which gives you an extra 30%. Earlier this month, at the top of the month, I went ahead and took my Mechagnome here to the Dark Moon Fair and got the Wii buff, and it's carried over, even though right now it's actually October 17th. But she was basically... I hadn't logged into her since then, so she kept it. So I entered this dungeon at level 47. I just jumped all the way to level 50. This is how fast right now you can level to level 60 in this game. Once you get to level 60, it requires a bit more XP, but just getting to level 60, you are just getting super amounts of XP. The thing is, if you look at the time walking dungeon buff here, you'll see you get, it says here, oh, now you get 61,000. Your XP bar is 42,000. Are you getting the idea here? Yeah, that's how fast you can level in these dungeons. So, we finished this dungeon. It's Pandaria time walking. We finished Scholomance, or Sholomance, however you want to say it. So I hit level 50, and then, well, this level 50 stuff triggered. But then Prince Erasmus said, "Your Mechagnome, our adventures across Azeroth and beyond have provided our people with a wealth of valuable data. Such efforts deserve reward. Return to Mechagnome City so we may properly celebrate your excellence. We cannot be more pleased with your progress. You represent us well with the Alliance. Return to Mechagnome City at your earliest convenience. Warren has created a gift for you." And we will get the Heritage of the Mechagnome armor, which is the last Heritage armor that I have not gotten in this game. I've gotten everybody else that has a Heritage armor in this game. I say that because the only two races in this game that don't have a Heritage armor yet are the Trolls and the Draenei. Everybody else I've got the Heritage armor for, except the Mechagnomes. So now, the question is, okay, how do I get back to Mechagnome City? And I'm wondering, this looks like a possible teleporter. Is this a way I can get back there? Yes, it is! We have returned. There's Kelsey, there's Mechatork, and the Prince.
The resistance stands strong.
Continue in this manner, and our people will continue to advance at a rapid pace. There is so much left to discover. Continue to learn and grow.
You stand as a prime example of our people's potential. Time and again, you have proven your ingenuity second to none. This armor represents the pinnacle of Mechagnome engineering. Equip it with pride, and never cease the quest for perfection.
So here's the funny part about this Heritage armor. And this is something I discovered when I was trying to figure out how, what transmog I wanted for my Mechagnome here, which you're probably noticing, okay, it's like, I found one that kind of works for her, also one that doesn't have a helmet. That's because, well, let's just say some of the, at least the monk stuff, is kind of silly looking on her tiny head. Like, if you put one of those big hats on, it just kind of looks a little silly. If you want to know what I'm talking about, I can kind of just show you right here. Here's well, look at this. The hat on her looks a little silly. Same thing with some of these other ones here. Some of these, of course, when it comes to the monk, are just like masks. This is also kind of funny, although it's like the helmet may not be that bad, but the funny part to me is the shoulders. The shoulder pads, like, just cover her arms. And so it looks a little silly at that point. But that's the other thing, is if you'll notice, even though we can put gear on her, we can't transmog it. So let's go ahead and leave. I think this will take me back. Obviously, I'll have to... hold on. Let me go ahead and favorite some of these. But I'll try and show what I mean in a moment here. So it ends up feeling like, well, I guess it's not that big a deal on a Mechagnome, considering that even though you can put gear on her, it doesn't really allow you to transmog it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you hop on your yak, for example...
Oh, I have just the thing.
You'll notice there's a few pieces I literally cannot put transmog on. Now, if you're probably wondering, well, what about this piece here? Well, like, I can... Well, hold on. That's the wrong piece. I think it's... Is it this one? No, it's not that one. It kind of should be this one. Although it's actually not doing that. Oh, that's... Hold on. That's because I've got the tabard on. Hold on. Let me get the tabard off. Or maybe it's also the shoulders? I wouldn't think that'd be the case. It's gotta be this. Hold on. Oh, it must be also the robes here. Silly me. Hold on. Alright, so like here's an example of what I'm talking about. You can't really do anything about like these here, and even if you like do something about the shoulders, it's like, well, here's the thing. This is kind of basically like what you can't really do anything about like the arms and the legs, not really. I mean, you can kind of, but you have to have specific pieces make it work. Now, again, what I was trying to say is that I was looking for some pieces to really like put on her, like in terms of like head and shoulders. The thing is, well, some just look kind of silly on a Mechagnome because of her tiny head. Like, as I was saying here, this is kind of bad or kind of silly looking. But then you try and put some other shoulders on, like, let's say the shoulders from the Zuen set that you can get from the Tomb of Sargeras. Where are those? Ah, here they are. You can try and put some shoulders on, but then you kind of see part of the issue here is that the shoulders are just kind of way too big on a Mechagnome. To the point where it's like clipping into her head and covering like her arms. So, like this one right here. I was like, okay, why not this? And it's like, okay, now that looks kind of silly. Even if I then try to put, say, the Zuen helmet on her. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. It's like, okay. So I basically just kind of went for this, kind of like, okay, this is not that bad. Because, like, even though the shoulders, again, the shoulders look really silly because of how big they are. And they cover her arms. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, do I even want to bother with shoulders at that point? And now I found this. I was like, okay, well, this doesn't look bad because it covers up her mechanical legs. So it kind of makes it look kind of, you know, like not too silly looking. But now let's go ahead and, of course, put on what we've been spending time getting, which is the... And, of course, when we take off the tabard, this is then what it looks like. You put the... So what's funny is that it just kind of blends into the mechanical parts she already has. Like her mechanical arms and legs, you'll notice. Like, again, if you just kind of take some of these pieces off. Hold on. Oh, that's right. There's no option to just hide the legs. You can only, like, put on, like, something else that's not revealing because, of course, they don't want you to... They don't want naked characters in this game. They don't want players to be running around completely naked, you know, or just down to their skivvies, you know, just down to their undies. Like, you can take your shirt off, but they're not going to let you take your pants off, you know. They're like, that's where Blizzard puts the foot down. Like, no, absolutely not. But yeah, I'm just trying to showcase that, like, you've already got the bare arms and legs when it comes to the Mechagnome body. So then when you put on the Mechagnome armor, it just kind of has pieces that kind of blends into the rest of it, which kind of makes it look a little bit more okay and natural, except that here you can see, like, it's more so a helmet than her actual, like, head replacing her. So, if you want to go, like, full, like, robot, like, yes, I am a robot, then this is kind of like, okay, this set is fine. You know, it's not that bad, really. But honestly, like, even though it's like, okay, I have it, this is probably going to be one of those I'm probably not going to use, only because I kind of like being able to actually find something that kind of works for how I'm trying to get this character look. Now, I'll bet if I was playing this on a different class that had more options when it comes to, you know, the Mog pieces I've collected over time, like, these are obviously mainly just, like, leather pieces that I've collected on other leather characters, like, whether it be Druid monk or demon hunter. Like, you can even try to, like, sample how some of these leather sets would look on a Mechagnome. Like, this is the set from Nyalotha. You know, let's look at something else. This is the Venthyr set. That's the Necrolord set. Here's the Sanctum of Domination set, which you can see part of the issue here that I was talking about. Yeah, you can see, like, the helmet and the shoulders, but then the rest of it is just kind of like, well, there's not really much point in collecting for Transmog on a Mechagnome because you're not going to be able to visually show it anyway. Now, again, this doesn't affect, like, gameplay stuff. You can still equip it just fine. The pieces, it's just not going to be visible. So, let's just say Transmog, unless you can find something like, I thought this was a decent enough look for her because it doesn't fully expose her mechanical parts. It kind of makes it look like she's just, like, wearing this, like, full-on monk-like robe, like, covering her body. And because I thought a lot of the headpieces just looked rather silly on her tiny head, I was just like, why am I going to cover up her head? Like, so, a lot of players just don't even bother putting anything on their characters' heads. They just kind of run around with, you know, just their heads and their faces. So I was like, I mean, I think she's cute enough that I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go ahead and just let her show off her pretty face and her pretty hair without having some silly, like, helmet, like, just being, just... Again, like, you put, like, a hat like this, and it's just kind of like, okay, now that's kind of looking very silly. Like, she has this tiny head, she's trying to put on this gigantic hat on top, and it's just not fitting at all. Like, I can just picture her just trying to get to work, and it just won't work, so she just tosses it away, like, yeah, forget it. I'm not gonna wear some stupid hat. So,
Good fortune to all.
I have them all now. Until they add more, which... I mean, I honestly don't know when they're going to add the rest, but it's like, you know, the point that, you know, that matters here is that I now have them all. So, you can even see here, I have the Nightborn, Zandalari, this is just the allied races, Void Elf, Volpera, Lightforged, Maghar, Dark Iron, High Mountain, Cold Tyran, and now the Mechagnome. And as I said, I also have the ones for the other races that you can be able to play that have quest lines to unlock their heritage armors. The only ones I have not done yet are the Trolls and the Draenei, which I expect to come out either at some point near the end of Dragonflight, or that's something they will save for the next expansion. Now, how much time we have left, I don't know, because rumor has it that 10.2 will be the last patch for Dragonflight, which I would be kind of surprised that all of a sudden, just like that, the expansion is over. But I don't know. Maybe that's all they had in mind, and they want to kind of go a different direction in terms of how much content they want each expansion to have. I honestly don't know. I would be a little surprised, but if that's what they want to do, okay, let's see how they do with it. So, anyways, yeah. Every heritage armor now collected for myself until they add the remaining heritage armors, which would be the Trolls, the Draenei, and I guess we'd have to include the Evokers at some point. You know, now that they are a race in the playable race in the game, I guess at some point we'll have to, like, maybe years down the line, the Evokers will get a heritage armor. I don't know. But yeah, I have tried to help showcase all of them now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed me collecting all the heritage armors for both the regular races and the allied races. And I will see you guys next time.